Good morning, guys. Chris with Tillman Family Farms. It is a Sunday morning, and we are way behind on getting our garden in for the year. Dad has already got his garden completely in, which is normally opposite. We normally have ours in before he does. So, we're going to talk about our no-nonsense way of planting a garden. We watch all these other videos, people that do their gardens. Good Lord, the sun. Let's see. We watch all these other people that are doing these gardens, and they go, some of them, man, they're nice, they're pretty and all that stuff, but I'm gonna tell you, Jamie and I have been feeding our family, and we raised 3 kids on a no-nonsense garden. We put the plants in the ground, we try to keep the weeds off of them, we pick it, we can it, we eat it. We don't spend a ton of extra money on things, trellises and all these other things. If we've got some stuff laying around, we might use it for things like that, but for the most part we don't. And we're going to go over this garden. There's still a couple of things we got to get in the ground. Some of it's planted, some of it's not, but anyway, I'm gonna go over this garden, and probably even, I mean, we hadn't seen Jamie on a video in a while, so we're gonna get her back involved. All right, so this is how it is. So you see right here, this is kind of what we let the garden do in the wintertime. We kind of let it get a little cover of whatever's gonna grow in it. That little stand right there is actually mustard greens that didn't get picked. We had collards right here too. The furthest end of it was all covered about like this. We actually started the sheep and goats in here a couple videos back. You can see some of that. Let them go through here in netting and eat most of the weedy stuff. They ate a lot of the seed top off, so we wouldn't get a lot of weed regrowth, but we're gonna get weed regrowth anyway. So anyhow, this whole section that you see right here, I'm fixing to turn that in with the tiller. So she's got a couple of rows of tomatoes right there, and then this bottom half right here, we're probably gonna stick okra, maybe sweet potatoes, no telling what right there. And then she's got, oh man, she's got pickling cucumbers over here. I don't know, I'll have to get her to tell you what's in there. But anyhow, I'm gonna turn this stuff up a little bit more so we can get some seed in the ground. Probably get our tomato baskets up today, which are just some homemade tomato baskets. We take a piece of rebar and drive in the ground. But it's just fence wire and zip ties. Old fence that's come down or was left over laying around when we bought the place. So anyway, let's get it. So that's what one pass with a tiller looks like when it was that weedy. So I can hear people cringing out there. What is he doing? Well, all this decaying plant matter and whatnot is just going to add some nutrient back to the soil. And I'm about to go get a little compost to add back to this as well, and keep on turning it. Probably gonna get turned about 3 or 4 times, so we're just gonna keep at it. All right, so I am done with the tiller. Well, in this section, I still gotta go down there and catch a little bit more, but so you can see, even with the little bit of growth that was in here, I just turned every bit of that mess in. I am going to take a hard rake and get some of the, let's see if I can go up here and find what I'm talking about. So you see like some of that stemmy stuff, like that right there. I'm gonna take this rake and get some of that out. There's a lot up here and some of this stuff. So I'm just gonna rake that out. And then, I don't know if you can tell it, but where the tiller starts, it always ends up with a little mound right here. So I'm gonna rake some of that stuff out, just kind of smooth this out. Sometimes we cut sure enough rows, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just put the plants in the ground just like this, and then whether it's compost or some type of really cheap mulch, like we got a pretty good deal on a pallet of mulch left over from last year, $1 a bag. So we will do stuff like that, but for the most part we don't do much of nothing. We just put them in the ground, water them, and I've got some push plows that we run between the rows to try to keep weeds knocked down. So I'm gonna get the rake out, and when I'm done with that part of it, I will show you guys what we got. All right, so there was a little ridge right across there at the bottom of the tomatoes. I raked that out. And then all down here at the bottom, if you ever run a tiller, you know when you stop, kind of dig a trench along there. So I took and I pulled everything back at an angle to try to get that filled back in. Went up there at the top and raked the ridge off from right there. When you start a tiller, it makes a mound. Got all the bigger steamy trash out of that. Did not get off into the other stuff. This is ready. So a lot of this is going to be seeded. There are some, she still does have some plants somewhere, but a lot of this is just going to be seeded. And I think that I realized a few minutes ago that we don't have any black beans or pinto beans just yet. So down there at the far end, that's probably what's going to happen down there. And then since we've already run animals through here, so we have a grapevine up there. Sorry about the blur. And then there's some blueberries that has chicks in it that are going to move out to a bigger range type deal. So that will go back out in the pasture, getting ready for meat birds. And then we're going to start cleaning up around all these blueberry bushes. We had intended to try to run animals through here, but blueberry bushes kept us from that. So we're going to get the weed eater out and kind of clean all that stuff up. But time to get the garden planted. All right, so we do something different every year. So like the tomatoes up there are planted in flat. This is gonna be rows of okra. I'm probably gonna take this, I'm not sure how much seed I've got, but I'm gonna take this all the way over, at least till the end of the tomatoes right there. And then, so this is rows, like mounded rows. And then we have some sweet potatoes. And in order to keep the ground soft, I'm gonna do some mound cropping with them so that they have plenty of ground to grow, plenty of soft ground that's piled up to grow in. So that's gonna be up there along that area. And then of course, like I say, we've still got some butter beans. There might still be some cucumbers plant, but I'm gonna get some other rows cut in here long ways and we'll get some of that stuff. And like I said, we still gotta track down some black beans and pinto beans too. So a little bit more. All right, so I'm about an hour and a half in. So I've tilled, I've gotten rid of all the stuff that was grown cover crop from the winter stuff. There's already tomatoes up there. These rows, all the way to the end of the tomatoes right there, are gonna be okra. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more rows that I have no idea what are gonna be. And then I told you I was gonna do some old style mound cropping. Indians used to do this. Got a little Indian in my blood. So we're gonna plant 6 sweet potatoes. It's gonna give plenty of room for the vine to grow out and a big mound of soft dirt to develop potatoes in. So this is where we're at. The sun and the heat already is getting me here in middle Georgia. There's a lot of other chores to do. So I'm probably gonna call it quits on this for right now. Come back this afternoon, but not done. This portion of the garden is getting planted today. Like I said, I'm not sure what's gonna go in these rows here, but they're cut and ready to go. All right, guys, it's the next day, and got a lot of stuff planted over here where we were working the ground and all that stuff yesterday. And just like I promised, Jamie is here. She's been missing in action from a lot of videos here lately, but she's been here. She's been busy as she can be, but I want her to, I'm gonna turn this around and let her tell us what she's already got planted on this side, and then we'll go over what's planted on that side. All right, so what you got in this first row next to this drainage thing we've got going on here?
Cucumbers.
So cucumbers, and then what's this? These are
Jalapeno peppers.
Jalapeno peppers. That's where y'all's cowboy candy comes from. And then
we got squash and zucchini.
Squash and zucchini on all 3 of those rows?
Yes.
And then there's a couple of rows of butter beans. Butter beans.
Butter beans.
What are you the most excited about?
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers.
And tomatoes.
And tomatoes?
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah. All right. So guys, it's several days later and I lost some video footage. So we're gonna go over what we planted in this section again, okay? So up there was tomatoes. Then I've got 1, 2, 3 rows of okra. We didn't have okra seed like I thought we did. And then this section here is just an array of pepper plants that my sister-in-law seeded. So she had a bunch of extra ones, and she was like, here, just take you a variety. So we're not quite sure what we got going on there, but all the rest of these rows, all these rows right here, all planted green beans. There's even a couple that, since I planted this and lost footage, there's a couple that are starting to break the ground. So I would imagine the next couple of days, they will be popping out of the ground. But then up there, you can see my mounds. Let's walk up there and look at those mounds. It's just gonna, it's more solid than I thought. We've been watering like crazy, and we had a good rain. So these are sweet potato mounds. So sweet potatoes in each one. We're gonna end up putting a basket around these, like the tomatoes, so that the vines can climb. But other than that, that's it. Well, we got cleaned up all around the blueberry bushes. So that's all done. And we left all of this up here because we're gonna be grazing the sheep all through our yard. We got about probably 2 acres worth of grass around this place. We're grazing sheep and goats in, but you can even see over there, since we went up, how all those butter beans have popped out over there that we talked about. So, but anyhow, this is all the stuff that I was missing. So now I can finish the video. All right, so those of you that don't follow our Facebook page, Jamie did a spring break camp for kids, what, a month and a half ago?
First week of April.
First week of April. So, and what's today?
The second week of May.
Second week of May. She's right, I'm wrong. Anyway, we threw these boxes together so that we would have an opportunity to let the kids plant some things. So I'm gonna flip this around. I'm gonna let Jamie, there's just one little weedy section that we're gonna get in there and probably plant something else. There was a little unsupervised action right here, and the kids didn't plant anything there, but let's show you guys this and let Jamie explain what all this stuff is. All right, so what you got, what all you got in that first box, babe?
So the first box in the center is nothing but onions.
Okay.
We got this butter crunch lettuce.
Okay.
They planted some seed herbs, I think oregano and parsley and I don't know, and then we got a...
And that's what you think's on the end down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely parsley now that I see the little leaves coming up.
Okay.
We got a volunteer tomato plant from the compost dirt.
So are these right
those
here?
Those are empty. Yeah,
no. These right here on the side, are these onions too?
Yeah, this whole entire center is
everything
onions.
you see in here is onions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe these cells up here are empty.
Yes.
So this box is the one that is just getting after it. So potatoes. What kind of potatoes you got going on there?
I think they're the Yukon Gold.
Yukon Gold. Awesome. I'm digging it. And
a
then
bunch of romaine lettuce.
Okay.
I mean, that's all the way around to there.
Okay.
We got the curly kale.
Yep. So the kale.
Yeah.
There's
garlic in there, which is getting covered by the potato
plants. The potatoes are.
Potato plants
are. Potatoes. This will probably end up being the best crop of potatoes that we've ever had.
And then they planted
there's some spinach in a couple of different places there. So we're really, really excited about the garden boxes. We actually have plans to try to get the kids back here to help harvest this stuff. So that'll be really cool for them, and kind of a closing the door and letting them see the whole entire deal of their spoils and all their hard work and all that planting.
Because they planted this 100% by themselves.
Yeah.
I had everything out here for them, and I kind of guided them on how to do it and let them at it, and this is their project.
Awesome. Well, their project's going to taste good.
I know.
All right, guys, so we got a couple of chores to do, but that's going to be it for this one. Like I said, no nonsense. We don't get into all this crazy stuff. We don't put all this crazy fertilizer stuff in our gardens. We put compost in there every now and again, and if we have stuff, we'll use it. But for the most part, tomato baskets, stakes, dirt, compost, and let it ground cover in the wintertime. And we just stick the plants in the ground and tend to them, try to keep the weeds off of them. And we've got a really nice garden every year. We've been feeding our kids and our family this way for a long time. So it works. There's nothing else I can say about it besides it works. And my wife does wonderful things with it when she gets it in the kitchen. So we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't done so, please go down and like and subscribe. Ring that bell so you'll see all the videos that we put out. We will see you on the next video.